There we go. Hi, YouTube. Ukraine time. So I wanted to show this video because it just gives us a really good update on the ground of, what Bakhmut looks like just a few days ago. They released this report 2 days ago. I think the reporter was on the ground maybe maybe a week ago, maybe even less, might have been 3 or 4 days ago. But I thought this was a really good rundown. So let's take a look.
Lose ground to Russian forces in and around Bakhmut. But further south, it's a different story. Continuing attacks by Russian tanks and armoured vehicles have resulted in heavy losses for Moscow's forces, with almost nothing to show for it. Months of battles have turned the countryside and many towns around there into wasteland where civilians and the military come under daily Russian bombardment. From there, our correspondent Quentin Somerville and camera journalist Darren Conway sent this report.
Into a cratered no man's land where even tank armour can be breached. Up close and in range, Serhi's tank crew releases everything it's got against Russian targets. The enemy is just 500 metres away across this field. Watch Serhi's round hit, top right.
Oh shit.
The orders are...
Hey, did you see that? Top right? God, look how fucking far away that is, dude. That's nuts.
Top right. Woo! The orders are get in, get out and take cover. We're right behind them.
Quickly! Go to position. Go quickly. Go quickly.
Open ground is
Quickly.
their enemy's friend.
You're under sniper fire.
Our tank worked successfully on the target, so the enemy artillery is now targeting us. Our drone spotters gave the tank crew the command to urgently roll back out of range, so our guys won't be hit by the enemy's artillery. That was a 120mm shell landing, maybe around 20 to 30 meters away from us.
A brief lull
Completely
and it's time
unfazed.
to move again. This is what a year of attacks has done to the town of Velika Novosilka. Once thriving, it's all but abandoned. And still Russian bombs fall here. A mortar lands to the right. The town has already been reduced to rubble. And yet
Big
another
time.
mortar lands.
Right on the front lines.
Even closer. They're zeroing in. Any movement here captures Russia's attention.
It's like, yep, let's not go in the direction they're expecting us to go in then.
In the town and on its outskirts, travelling in the open can be a matter of life or death.
Yep, change roads. They're zeroing
This
in on
road
us.
is within range of Russian guns, and it has to be taken at
They're
speed.
moving, dude. They're moving. It's like 80, 90 mile
To
an
a
hour,
stricken
man.
wasteland where Russian eyes are always watching.
Maybe not that much.
Infantryman
look what Russia
Dima,
does.
he's only 22 years old, is escorting us forward.
The trenches we're heading to are about a kilometre ahead. And Dima's just told me that the village over here is half held by the Ukrainians and half held by the Russians.
Get the fucking deck. No, I hadn't seen that one, Lennon. Is that the one with Prigozhin where he's looking at the map? Dude, that's so fucking close. It's raining dirt. He's all in. Smoke breaks over. Let's go, boys.
Mortars, tank fire, grenades, they get hit by everything here.
Move fast!
Separated by incoming fire, camera journalist Darren Conway
In here.
calls us into the trench.
Stu, there's a bunker here. Q. This way. Come on, run. Straight to me.
Ooh, very cool. Okay,
Down,
we'll
down, down,
we'll
down,
show
down.
that, Lenny. Thank you.
Get in, get down.
Your ass down, boy.
That's two Russian shells that have just come in. I think it's tank fire. Landing very close to these positions gives you an idea of how exposed it is here. There's absolutely no tree cover. The safest place for these men is in the trenches. They've already taken a couple of casualties here in the last week.
The bombardments never stop.
Holy fuck, dude. Holy fuck, man.
We're standing at zero position, and right now we're under mortar fire.
When the next one might be a direct hit, it's hard
Right, line
not to
cut.
flinch. Does Dima think Russia could win here?
You know, this is a really interesting statement from this guy. I was not expecting this because usually it's like rah, rah, rah. This is a more interesting statement.
It's a good question. This question needs to be addressed to the senior military. Oh, that was close. What do you think? Can Russia win? I don't know. They have an unlimited amount of shells. They have entire warehouses full of them. They can shoot all day, and they'll never run out of shells. And what about
Unguided,
us?
inaccurate.
We will run out of shells this year. But we are forming various assault brigades, and we have been given tanks like Abrams. So I think with their help, we will win. And we are Cossacks. We are brave guys. We can handle it.
Doesn't look too happy about the situation, though. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, we're tough enough. We can do this, but you know, this feels a little bit more real, right? This kind of like reserved determination. It's like, I don't really want to be here. I'm not having a great time, but this is a necessity. This is something that we have to do, and eventually we will win. But you know, it's going to take a lot of work.
Okay, you and Dima go together, and I will go with the other group.
Dima checks if the ground is clear. We won't go for now, he says. Dima welcomes the cover of darkness. A single shift here feels like a lifetime. Beyond these trees lurks a great danger. Their daily duty is holding it back. Their country's freedom depends on it. Russia could attack
7
again
million shells.
at any moment. Dima and his comrades will be waiting. Quentin Somerville, BBC News, Velika Novosilka.
Yeah, and these shells are not, you know, it's like Soviet era technology. So what they do is they make up for the fact that they're inaccurate. They just saturate an area. 3,000 in Abu Dhabi for my vapes. Oh, 3G. Oh, that's right. Kralov Xanath got screwed at the Abu Dhabi airport. Poor Kralov Xanath. They also tried to claim my juices were THC. Also, they took 100K worth of equipment and juices, and they stole my wireless mouse. And I found out my landlord threw out my cat the day after you left, even though I had someone coming daily to care for her. But I did make it to Thailand. I'm in Patong at the moment. How's your cat? What's up with your cat, dude? And are you suing your landlord? Holy shit. How does that even work? Your landlord came into your apartment and threw out your cat? He waited for you to leave? None of this sounds legal. None of this sounds even remotely legal. If I can find a lawyer. Yeah, sue the shit out of that guy. If you not that most people needed any more evidence. that Aaron Mate is a bad actor. But here we have Aaron Mate being invited by Russia to spread Russian propaganda at some meeting or something. Russia invited Aaron Mate to speak to the UN Security Council to deny the Syrian chemical weapons attacks. And, he claims to be a truth teller. Aaron Mate, Glenn Greenwald. They claim to be truth tellers over there. Jimmy Dore. They're anything but. Who's the other one? Aaron Mate and, what's this other one? The weird, shy one. Either way, any of those guys at the gray zone. Max Blumenthal, that's another one. But yeah, just wanted to show you this. I'm not going to play it or whatever, but Aaron Mate basically doing direct propaganda work for Russia now. Congratulations. You fucking love to see it. I'm sorry to the communists that are in the chat, but I fucking love to see this. Honestly, I think most communists that want to see communism be successful, I think they would agree that communists need to drop the Soviet-style iconography, the flags, the suits, the uniforms, the hammer and the sickle. Throw that shit in the trash where it belongs. No one's taking communism seriously, because you got a little red book. So here we have Ukrainian soldiers pulling down a communist flag, the Soviet style, the Soviet, hammer and sickle style, which it doesn't even represent the current Russian government. It's just out of nostalgia that they're using this old Soviet style, flags and stuff. They're dusting off the fucking nostalgia for the Soviet era. Here we see it. Looks like it's been up a while too. It's kind of tattered and torn. It's been up there for a little bit. See this Ukrainian fella up here. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, commies. And honestly, if you're defending, if you're pointing to Russia or China as a defense of communism, boy, you got it all wrong. You're not convincing a single person. Baby, I'll feed Ziggy, no problem. If you want to just leave her down there, I will gladly feed Ziggy. It's okay. I'll get it. Our elderly dog is not eating properly, and there's a whole procedure, and sometimes she just refuses to eat. Just go ahead and leave her down there, babe. I'll feed her. I'll take care of it. Go ahead and put the food up, and I'll wash the foot and everything, okay? Almost done here. So this is interesting. Davey pointed this one out. There was a lot of people rushing to the Ukrainian, battle, and a lot of people meant well, but there's also a lot of bullshit. There's a lot of stolen valor, a lot of lies, people saying that they have military experience. And then they get to the front lines and they piss their pants. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're completely useless. The Ukrainian military thinks they're getting a U.S. trained fighter, and really they're getting a poser. I won't read this whole article here. Definitely recommend you reading it here. Davey gave us a link that is not paywalled. So thank you, Davey. But yeah, let me just read a little bit here. They rushed to Ukraine by the thousands, many of them Americans who promised to bring military experience, money, or supplies to the battlefield of a righteous war. Hometown newspapers hailed their commitment, and donors backed them with millions of dollars. Now, after a year of combat, many of these homespun groups of volunteers are fighting with themselves and undermining the war effort. Some have wasted money or stolen valor. Others have cloaked themselves in charity while also trying to profit off the war, records show. One retired Marine lieutenant colonel from Virginia is the focus of a U.S. federal investigation into the potentially illegal export of military technology. A former Army soldier arrived in Ukraine only to turn traitor and defect to Russia. Excuse me? Former Army soldier arrived in Ukraine only to turn traitor and defect to Russia. A Connecticut man who lied about his military service has posted live updates from the battlefield, including his exact location, and boasted about his easy access to American weapons. A former construction worker is hatching a plan to use fake passports to smuggle in fighters from Pakistan and Iran. Stop helping. Stop helping. And in one of the more curious entanglements, one of the largest volunteer groups is embroiled in a power struggle involving an Ohio man who falsely claimed to have both a U.S. Marine and a Longhorn Steakhouse assistant. Wait a minute. Okay, and in one of the more curious entanglements, one of the largest volunteer groups is embroiled in a power struggle involving an Ohio man who falsely claimed to have been a U.S. Marine and a Longhorn Steakhouse assistant manager. The dispute also involves a years-old incident on Australian reality TV. What? Ukrainian channel, if I'm interested. Yeah, we'll check that out. Take a look. What is this? Come on. What do we got here? H. Ramostki. All right, we'll take a look. I'll hit subscribe on that. We'll take a look. Thank you for the suggestion. Such characters have a place in Ukraine's defense because of the arms length role the United States has taken. The Biden administration sends weapons and money, but not professional troops. That means people who would not be allowed anywhere near the battlefield in a U.S.-led war are active on the Ukrainian front. Interesting. Often with unchecked access to weapons and military equipment. Many of the volunteers who hurried to Ukraine did so selfishly and acted with heroism. Some have lost their lives, and I have a report on several people that have, foreigners who have lost their lives in Ukraine, along with, of course, the thousands of Ukrainian soldiers. Foreigners have rescued civilians, aided the wounded, and fought ferociously alongside the Ukrainians, and I have footage of that as well. Others raised money for crucial supplies. But in Europe's largest land war since 1945, the do-it-yourself approach does not discriminate between trained volunteers and those who lack the skills or discipline to assist effectively. And look, if you don't know what you're doing, you are a liability. You have become a liability on that battlefield. If you don't know what you're doing, if you lock up, if you don't know how to follow orders, you don't know how to reload your weapon under gunfire, you are a liability. Asked about the problems you commit. So asked about these problems, the Ukrainian military did not address specific issues, but did say that it was on guard because Russian agents regularly tried to infiltrate volunteer groups. That makes sense. We investigated such cases and handed them over to law enforcement agencies, says Andriy Cierniak, a representative for Ukrainian military intelligence. Interesting. Wow, listen to this. One of the best-known Americans on the battlefield is James Vasquez. Days after the invasion, Mr. Vasquez, a Connecticut home improvement contractor, announced that he was leaving for Ukraine. His local newspaper told the tale of a former U.S. Army staff sergeant who left behind his job and family, picked up a rifle and a rucksack on the front line. Since then, he has posted battlefield videos online at least once, broadcasting his unit's presence location to everyone, including the opposing side. He used his story to solicit donations. Quote, I was in Kuwait during Desert Storm, and I was in Iraq after 9/11. Really? Mr. Vasquez said in a fundraising video, he added, quote, this is a whole different animal. Mr. Vasquez, in fact, never deployed to Kuwait, Iraq, or anywhere else. The Pentagon spokeswoman said. He specialized in fuel and electrical repairs. Okay, so he was in the military. And he left the Army Reserve not as a sergeant, as he claimed, but as a private first class, one of the Army's lowest ranks. Ooh, he does look like the type, doesn't he? He does look like, oh, I hate to stereotype, but he does look like the type. Still, Mr. Vasquez had easy access to weapons, including American rifles. Where did they come from? Quote, I'm not exactly sure, Mr. Vasquez said in a text message. The rifles, he added, were brand new, out of the box, and we have plenty. He also tweeted that he should not have to worry about international rules of war while in Ukraine. Okay. ATP geopolitics for Ukraine updates. I don't know what that means. Figures, right, Grail? yeah, anyway, if you want to read the rest of this, here's that link one more time. You can check it out. But yeah, it's not all sunshine and roses, folks. We got a lot of liars and grifters, and they should be looked out for. They should, you got to, everyone's going to try to take advantage of a crisis, right? So here is unfortunately one of fallen soldiers from France, I believe, in Bakhmut. French volunteer Kevin David, who fought in the ranks of the armed forces of Ukraine, died. This is certainly not one of the posers. This is one of the legit hardcore motherfuckers that saw the need to defend democracy, and he answered that call, and he paid the ultimate price for it. R.I.P. Kevin David. Rest in power. You badass motherfucker. True badass right there. True badass. The other one I wanted to point out, Polish commander of International Legion was also killed. Looks like we do not have a picture of that hero, but Polish platoon commander of Ukraine's International Legion been killed in action. Polish citizen, what's his name? Polish reporter Mateusz Lachahuski said the fallen soldier's name is Michael without providing the last name. So rest in peace, Michael from Poland. Commander of the International Legion, kicking ass over there in Ukraine. Speaking of stolen valor and pieces of shit, Chechnya's Kadyrov decorated for defending human rights. I mean, if you know anything about this character, you know how ridiculous that is. This was the guy that was supposed to be the uber badass, right? He did a big propaganda video, sweeping drone footage, just so badass. And then literally on his way there, didn't even get to the front lines. His squad is just obliterated on the way there. This guy defending human rights, please. Just wanted to point it out. Don't even need to read it. This is fascinating. A lot of people, I mean, Dennis even came out 10 days ago, and Dennis is doing mea culpa as well, and I have to do one as well. Because, Bakhmut did not look good. It really did not look good. But clearly the Ukrainian commanders and the Ukrainians on the ground knew something that us armchair generals didn't know. And it's looking like Russia, quote, they are losing significant strength and becoming exhausted. The head of the Ukraine's military says its forces are pushing back the Russian assault on Bakhmut in the Donbas region. So trepidatious here. Bakhmut might hold. And I sure hope it does. This interview is very important. If you want to call this kid a crisis actor and, he's lying and he's reading from a script, because I haven't, of course he isn't, but people will say that. But do you honestly really believe that? That this kid is Oscar level actor, and he's just reading, he's just reading what he's told. Nothing about this seems dishonest. It seems like he's telling 100% the truth. And this gives you an idea of what it's like to be kidnapped by Russia and then to be forced to be Russian. You're just basically forced to be a Russian citizen. And this is the kind of shit that they put you through. Listen to this. No, all about human rights. Oh, I thought you meant about how to violate them. Two wrongs don't make a right. Yeah, so they're telling them, Ukraine's terrorists, they kill people, they kill children. Ukraine doesn't need you. Eat children with sticks. Just go to exercises to get up with the Russian Federation anthem. Yeah, so this is the parent telling them, what happened was they were living in Crimea. Russia came through and said, your kids are in danger. We will protect them. We'll take them to a camp. They'll be happy. They'll be safe. You know, we want to protect you. And this poor woman believed those lies. And, you know, what her children were telling them was a totally different story.
Малые поехали, думали, все будет хорошо. ЗСУ начало наступление, разбили мост, взорвали мост, и уже возврата детей не было.
Никто ничего не говорил, даже не обещали, что их могут повернуть. Наоборот, говорили, что еще и вывезут дальше куда-то.
Просто сказали, приезжайте, сами забирайте. Но дело в том, что добраться туда было невозможно.
Yeah, so Russia's, you know, after the bridge is blown up, Russia's saying, well, come on and get them then. It's literally impossible. I mean, it's not technically, you could drive all the way around, but you're driving all the way through a battlefield.
Нашей дочкой они скидывали видео концертов каких-то, выступлений, танцев. Учеба была у вас?
Конечно. Как вы узнали о возможности забрать оттуда? Вам предложили, позвонили или вы сами искали такую возможность?
Дети, все дети сделали.
Я скинула номер телефона волонтера.
Wow.
Я сразу же связалась.
The kids saved themselves.
Решение Международного уголовного суда – это знак всему миру, что Путин – преступник. Это военное преступление. Это не эвакуация, это депортация.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty disgusting stuff, but you know, to the Putler people, I do need to point out this isn't a concentration camp. I mean, this is an attempted genocide. But it's different. The Russian style is kidnap them and then just force them to be Russian. Eventually they'll like it. Just force Russian shit on them, but they didn't kill them. They didn't kill them. Which is different. It's like a softer, gentler dictatorship. Which almost seems worse, but hey, these kids got to come home. A lot of kids are not coming home. It's not that they're dead, it's just that Russia is not allowing them to be returned. They're not even acknowledging that these kids were kidnapped. So this is a little interesting tidbit. Don't use too many troops off their. Yeah, I mean that's a worry. Line cut, right? Is that, you know, Bakhmut has just sapped all their resources and they won't be able to successfully have that spring offensive. You know, the Ukrainian military, along with the U.S. logistics, has surprised me, and I don't know. I got to say, I'm pretty excited about the spring offensive, but we will have to see how successful it is. This is interesting. Poland prepares to send South Korean shells to Ukraine. So these were shells that were created in South Korea, purchased by Poland, and being stored by Poland, and now are on their way to Ukraine to be used in the war. Oh my God.
Poland prepares to send South Korean shells to Ukraine. Mateusz Morawiecki, Prime Minister of Poland, plans to persuade the European Union partners that joint procurement of projectiles outside the borders of the EU is necessary, since Ukraine already needs them, but Europe does not have enough of them. Morawiecki...
Well, Kim Goblin, I would also be skeptical about official statements from the Ukrainian government, right? Because it's not like they want to tell Russia exactly when they're going to do this. It might be a feint, right? Maybe, well, we're not ready. We're going to have to wait a couple more weeks and then pull the trigger, right? Yeah, that's some serious ammo.
Said it in an interview for RMF FM. It is not that big of a secret in Brussels that Europe has no shells. On the other hand, there are a few places in the world, specifically South Korea, where there are far more of these projectiles. So
the arms industry is fucking blowing their load. I mean, everywhere. If you're a weapons manufacturer, you're loving the war in Ukraine right now.
So I hope that our discussions with the European Commission and with a few key countries, Germany and France, will lead to the rapid supply of projectiles because Ukraine needs them here and now, Morawiecki said. At the moment, France is against the procurement of ammunition outside the EU, insisting that profitable contracts must be signed by European companies. I will convince France that shells must be supplied very quickly. Since we do not have such shells here in Europe in sufficient quantities, we have to buy them externally, just like Poland buys ultra-modern armament K2, K9 and Abrams from abroad at the moment, Poland's PM remarked. At the same time, he admitted that the external suppliers agreement, for instance, that of South Korea, is needed. This is where we should begin. We can only do it if the ones selling it allows export and permits the transfer of these projectiles. We are certainly a reliable partner, so we will only do it with permission, Morawiecki stressed.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because they, you know, even Poland, who is definitely, you know, pro-Ukrainian, anti-Russia, even Poland has to, you know, worry about, you know, previous commitments and arms treaties and all that. But it is interesting to see Poland like right out front, you know, doing as much as they can for the Ukrainian army, getting real close. We might see Polish soldiers on the ground. Maybe. I think everyone's kind of waiting to see how successful this spring offensive is going to be. Russian BMP-2 destroyed by RGT-27S2, dropped into an open hatch from the drone of the 72nd Mechanized Brigade in Mykilsky, Donetsk Oblast. It's interesting to me that, you know, these guys, you know, there's no one in these tanks, right? They've been abandoned after they usually hit by something, right? And then they just run like scared children. Also, we also have to talk about the combat. You know how usually the combat, the music is totally ridiculous? We've reached new heights in the absurdity of music that they're attaching to these brutal combat footage videos. Listen to this. Wildly inappropriate. I love this. Is such a nice tune. Boots on the ground, but Poland might actually do it. Yeah, Poland might actually do it. But I'm really surprised that the Russian military hasn't told Russians to, hey, button up. If you're going to abandon your vehicle, button it up. Button it up. Close those hatches before you go. Look how easy this is. They just drop it in. Bye-bye tank. Whole tank gone. Could have recovered that. Fucked it right up. Wildly inappropriate combat music. Wildly inappropriate. I know they drop it right in the hole. They're getting really good at it. Russians who attacked with nearly 100 soldiers ambushed in open area, they become targets. So there's no, you know, any dead bodies have been fuzzed out, okay? But I wanted to show this because it's truly unbelievable. You think, come on, Russia isn't that bad. Russia isn't literally just sending hundreds of men forward, you know, with very little, you know, cover in an open field. Surely there's some strategy. It was a really nice tune, right? Surely there's some strategy that Russia is employing. They're not. They're just sending squads of men to fucking die, dude. It's weird. You know, the Stalingrad strategy. With, what does it say? All right. Recorded by Ukrainian drones were sent. The invaders suffered heavy losses. That's the position of the Russians who tried to attack. So they got hit. And I guess they just said fuck it. Any artillery or intelligence support was hit by artillery strikes after the complete destruction of their equipment. The remaining manpower in the open area was also destroyed. No, this is crazy. These dudes are under fire. Look what they're doing. What the fuck are you doing? No tank, no APC, no coordination. They're all bunched up together. Look at that. Look at that. No commander would allow. Okay, I'm forced to run my squad through an open field. Let's just go ahead and bunch up together so a fucking arty strike can just take them all out at once. It's just so bad. Frightening disregard for their own people. And here comes the artillery. They're also getting sniped. machine guns raking the whole field. This is a video from Lenny. Thank you, Lenny. But Ukrainian forces blow up Russian intelligence antennas with precision. We've seen this before. I guess it was several months. It was like 6 months ago when we saw, I think it was a kamikaze drone going right into a communications antenna. Yeah, World War I, World War II. I mean, even in World War I, there was more coordination to that shit. You know, they'd blow a whistle and go over the top. And was the latest complaint video where experienced mob kids were saying they're taxed by their command. Yes, yeah, and I do think I have that clip lined up. If not, I won't have time for it this time, but I'll show it next time because it is really amazing. These Russians are basically saying they're you know, that if they fail in their job, you know, and if their squad gets wiped out, they'll get taxed on their earnings. So there it goes right there. They'll get taxed on their earnings, and of course they're reporting that some guys are coming back with shrapnel wounds. They're not even removing the shrapnel and just sending them back into fight. Because it's like, well, we don't want to spend the time and money to fix a guy that should just be dead on the battlefield anyway. That really is the mentality. It's not, you're not being Russia-phobic by pointing that out. You're not, you know, and then that's what they want to say. Oh, you're being Russia-phobic. You just hate Russia. You just hate Russia. It's the reality on the ground. It's the strategy that they're employing. Thank you, Lenny, for that clip. Ukrainian position in Bakhmut came under fire. So this is what it looks like. They're probably in some basement, or, you know, they're in some wine cellar or something right here. And the roof of the building that is above this hole comes down. Take a look at this. It just kind of, what the fuck, man? But, you know, even though Russia's artillery is inaccurate and, you know, it's a joke, it can still be very deadly, you know, and they don't need pinpoint accuracy when they fire just 100 shells in that area. They also like to do big fuck you rocket barrages. And I hope I have that video lined up. Huh. I guess I'll have to get that video lined up for next week. Here's another one, I think, from Davey, but this shows what it's like to be outside when you know, when the artillery comes in. I think this is a rocket barrage. Terrifying. Terrifying. The guy hits the deck first, right? And then he's like, I got to get out of here. I need to get into a basement. And then picks himself up and heads in that direction. This is really something else. I can't show you the whole video. Davey has the complete video in our Discord if you want to check it out. It's ! Discord, the politics section. But if you want to see this whole video, this is really something else. They storm this trench. They throw grenades in there. They fill it with machine gun fire, and they still were able to pull out 2 Russians who gave up, and they got 2 Russian POWs. But this is what it looks like to storm a trench. I couldn't imagine this would be literally the most terrifying moment of my life, because they have the advantage. Right? They're underground. They usually set it up in a position where they get a good view of the whole area. You know, and you got to get close enough. You got to get within grenade distance to, you know, you just got to step by step. Keep pressure on the trench. Keep pressure on the trench while you're approaching it. But you could get hit with a grenade, a sniper rifle bullet, artillery strike, oncoming fire. I think he's reloading or something. Man, how would it feel to be this guy right here? He's reloading right now, but he's got all these people like right behind him, bullets whizzing by him in both directions. Exactly, Lenny. Yeah, the artillery coming down just rattles your bones. So this video is only 2 minutes long, and it stops when he gets to the trench, but there's a whole segment that you can see in the Discord where he, you know, they flush it out, they secure the area. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Yeah. Granada. He's an American. Apparently part of the American Foreign Legion. Right, buddy? We're almost done. And dude, at any moment right here, I mean, especially right here, look, it's so Russian, all the fucking trash everywhere. But at any moment, a soldier could pop up, because I think this is where the trench goes. It goes down there. Any moment, someone could pop up and waste you, dude. Any fucking moment. When you're moving forward like that, you know, exposing yourself. Oof, it's really do or die. All right, let's see if we can get a map update, and then we'll call it a day. There it is. There's our map update. Ukrainians lure Russian assault. Let's see here. Let's check it out.
Day 396. Today a lot of news is coming from the east. Here, despite increased focus on the urban fighting, Wagner forces are not abandoning attempts to cut supplies to Ukrainian troops and encircle the whole Bakhmut garrison. After losing a foothold in the Ivanivsky forest, Russians immediately tried to recapture it. However, for that, they had to pass through a bottleneck, where Ukrainians had already been waiting for them. Last time I told you that after Ukrainians pushed Russians further from the Ivanivsky highway, they switched their focus to alleviating the pressure on the Khromovo highway. I also told you that despite the fact that Ukrainians managed to recapture several important positions, this was just the beginning, as Russians established multiple positions in each tree line in front of the road. The freshest report suggests that Ukrainians increased the number of assaults here even more. Recent footage reveals how Ukrainians are conducting artillery preparation of multiple Russian positions in the tree lines across the fields simultaneously.
Soften them up.
Russian forces are trying to retaliate and even launch assaults on Ukrainian positions. However, when it comes to Bakhmut's flanks, here Ukrainians are using fresh troops that are constantly being rotated in Chasiv Yar.
Yeah.
Ukrainian 54th Mechanized Brigade showed how they repelled one of such Russian assaults. Judging by the footage, it looks like they were spotted earlier than they expected, faced overwhelming fire, and tried to hide behind a big tree. But eventually the whole squad was killed. Ukrainians have also conducted a successful counterattack on the Sloviansk highway near Zaliznyansk. As you might have noticed, since Russians switched their focus to the city, the activity in this region has noticeably decreased. Ukrainians noticed that Wagner's also reduced support for this group and conducted a mechanized counterattack. Ukrainian 30th Mechanized Brigade showed how they completely annihilated the Russian strongpoint with tank fire and recaptured this section of the highway. And this is a very important development, because if we look at the topographic map, we can see that this is one of the highest points in the region. While Ukrainians have been actively reducing the area under Russian control in the northern part of the region,
I can't believe
Wagner
they're doing
forces
this.
tried to recapture what they lost in the south and conducted a counterattack. Geolocated footage reveals that the Wagner assault unit tried to cross this narrow section of the forest to assault Ivanivsky. But as it turned out, such a narrow space was perfect for establishing fire control, so they stepped right in the artillery kill zone and were quickly destroyed. Russians made one more assault in the direction of Ivanivsky Road, although this time it was on the outskirts of Bakhmut. Here, Russian forces assumed positions in one of the few high-rise buildings south of the road
they funneled
to provide
them.
cover and allow the assault unit to penetrate Ukrainian defenses. Geolocated video shows that Ukrainians successfully targeted this firing point and suppressed Russian fire, which resulted in rapid exposure of the assault unit. Judging by the available materials, Ukrainians killed at least 22 Wagners and the rest ran away, abandoning their armored vehicle. Despite the ongoing clashes, Ukrainians are still using the Ivanivsky highway to deliver small batches of ammunition. Although, as seen from the video, in order to drive through the region faster than Russian artillery can respond, they are driving at around 140 km per hour on the road with many obstacles. In the southern part of the city, the Ukrainian First Border Detachment continues to hold the small salient. As mentioned previously, Wagner forces are desperately trying to encircle this group of forces and deploying disproportionately many assault units to carry out this mission. Ukrainians are using this opportunity to track and inflict losses on the second line. The footage shows how Ukrainian drone operator works in coordination with an artillery crew. And as a result, they detected and destroyed one house with at least a dozen Russians near the lake, another house with Russians near the graveyard, and one more house where they delivered ammunition. When it comes to the eastern part of the city, Russian forces managed to advance along the whole contact line. Geolocated combat footage revealed how Russians are shelling with artillery a high-rise building with the Ukrainians in the central part of the city. This suggests that Russians fully captured the school and started moving further. A bit to the north, after several weeks of very costly attempts to ford the river and gain a foothold near garages, Russian forces finally managed to do it. Geolocated footage shows heavy fights in this area, and many sources say that for now, the area remains contested. Russian forces also made advances on the territory of the Azov industrial complex. Here, Wagner forces confirmed that they established control over 2 more sections of the complex. Russian news released a report showing the factory shops and previous Ukrainian positions. Overall, Russians are gaining ground in the area of the least tactical significance. The most important sector is the highways, which is exactly where Russians tried to develop their success at first to encircle the city, but so far Ukrainians have regained the initiative in this region and are slowly pushing Russians back.
I can't believe this.
The sector of medium significance is stable, and no party has gained any ground. The area of lowest significance is the only place where Russians are allowed to gain ground. The reason why this sector has the lowest significance is that here Russians have no chance of taking any group into a pocket. They are just slowly advancing at a very high cost and at the expense of their flanks, which facilitates a safer Ukrainian withdrawal. If you're against the invasion of Ukraine and you want to support the work...
Well, goddamn, folks. That's amazing. That is amazing. Congratulations to the Ukrainian military who have successfully held Bakhmut this long. Truly, I mean, honestly, you know, I was saying in the Discord, and maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, this honestly feels like one of the most important modern military battles of like, you know, of our lifetime, right? But anyway, there you go, YouTube. That's my Ukraine update. I mean, glory to Ukrainian democracy. Bakhmut holds. Putin go home. Do I need to say more? What an unbelievable... I mean, even like just like a month ago, if Ukraine pulls out now, it's still a victory for Ukraine. Propagandists will say otherwise, but god damn. Yeah, no, Dennis is you know, he's an honest guy. He'll give it to you straight, and he's actually apologizing, you know, because he was like, yeah, we got to get out of Bakhmut 10 days ago, and he's like, yeah, I was wrong. Clearly, the Ukrainian military knows something I don't. Anyway, thank you.